So understanding North Carolina, 55 plus communities. So again, my community is, or my area region is quite large, and it's the sixth largest county in the entire entire state of North Carolina. And so we're going to break it down into three regions and to try and help you understand why somebody would choose one region over another. So if you look at the green shaded area, these are the three different areas of Brunswick County. Wilmington is the closest big city other than Myrtle Beach. And Brunswick County is, people are choosing to live here because they want to be close to these islands. So to put things in perspective, there is 48 miles. I'm hoping everybody can see my cursor here. There are 48 miles between the South Carolina line and the Cape Fear River, which divides Brunswick County from New Hanover County or Wilmington. So almost all of Wilmington is encompassed by New Hanover County. So there's 80 miles of shoreline. There's 9 beaches and 7 islands that are in my area. And I'm including Wrightsville Beach, Carolina Beach, Curry Beach in that area, as well as Bald Head Island. There are 3 hospitals in my area and 2 international airports, that being in Myrtle Beach and the other in Wilmington. And over 30 golf courses, well over 30 communities. There's lots of good options. There's not one that I found to be a one size fits all. People choose different ones for different reasons. But more importantly, and this is the reason that we're having this webinar, is to understand why somebody would be in this Leland light shaded green versus the Shallotte darker area. Over the years, the people who have been moving here are predominantly been 62 and older. That's the average age for the county. So these communities, although they are built and designed with the active adult person in mind, they are not age restricted, with the exception of one, Del Webb River Lights in Wilmington. People have found, according to what they're telling me, they found that that is good. That way the grandkids can come and visit them and be able to use the pool without being restricted. So this is, again, it's a melting pot for retirees, and the developers certainly recognize that and have built the amenities and the houses. So almost people, I talk with folks and they say, well, I want to have the master on the main. Well, guess what? Almost every house out here is built with master on the main floor. So some areas of the shaded, this is what we'll break down now, some areas have something that other areas don't have. So let's start with the northeast corner. This is Leland. That main epicenter is Leland. It's a population of about 22,000 now, and the fastest growing town in the state of North Carolina, with the exception of one, I think, in Raleigh, is growing a little bit faster. But what's driving, again, is the communities for the retirees. And the newer communities are also here. So Brunswick Forest, Compass Point, these communities started in 2007, 2009. Magnolia Greens is the first one that came to the area. Then the same developer went on to develop Waterford, and then the same developer went on to develop Compass Point. Brunswick Forest is completely separate from that development company. But these are very rich in amenities, fitness centers, pools, activities, clubs, social groups of every kind, from woodworking to Bible study to pickleball. I mean, you name it, they have it. So people are choosing the Leland light shaded green area because they like convenience. Beaches are close, although we are more inland, so we're a little bit further from the beach here in the Leland area. The closest beach is Wrightsville Beach. But I ask people before they come to visit, we're trying to narrow down what we're going to look at, where we're going to focus our energy. And if somebody says that they dine out more than 2 times then a week, then I say, well, we probably should look at the Leland area. Question from the family Logan. I will address that. I know quite a bit, so I will address that question about the new development across from Compass Point. So here in the Leland area, you're no more than 10 to 15 minutes to get to downtown. So in the downtown region, people are wanting to choose that area because they like this river walk. It's about a 2-mile river walk that now spans from Memorial Bridge, which is right over here, going all the way over to the Isabel Holmes Bridge. So that's about a 2-mile river walk going along the Cape Fear, shopping and dining all the way up. Lots of people jog and exercise along that way. The new amphitheater, North River Park, is right on the north end, right up over here. So outdoor entertainment. Wilmington is a historic town, and it is a town that is had a part in the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, World War II. So there's culture there. There's performing arts there. There's an indoor theater, the Wilson Center, with 1,600 seat capacity. So it's people who want that kind of entertainment also at their fingertips. That is one of the reasons people will choose this area. Also medical. So it being close to Wilmington, Novant, and UNC Medical bought New Hanover Regional. This is a major campus. They just built a big, huge 8-story orthopedic hospital, Zimmer Cancer Institute. If people say I need to be convenient to medical, I don't want to drive 30 minutes to medical, then certainly Leland offers that. The airport is easy to get in and out of. They just expanded the for a 3rd terminal, so we've got more flights going in, but Charlotte and Atlanta, so you can connect to international, but Dulles, Dallas, O'Hare, LaGuardia, Newark. We still don't have Newark, but eventually we'll get Newark. Lord Almighty, there's tons of people from New Jersey moving here. Dining and convenience, that's what people are looking for. And then again, this region has some of the more modern communities. Now, as I said at the beginning of the webinar, there are new developments that are coming to the area. So Peter had a question about the new development, and there is a new development that's coming right across from Compass Point, somewhere around 600 homes bought by D. Logan. And so Logan Homes is the developer. We're probably a good 2 years from that really being able to buy property there. There's another one that's coming across from Brunswick Forest. And it's also being from the same developer of Compass Point. It's coming in right over here. There'll be more stores and more residential. That should be coming online this year. So if you're 2-3 years out from moving, there's more coming there, and also more coming in other parts of the county, which we can address that. So let's move a little bit more west and looking at the Southport corridor. So Southport, this Supply Southport Road is what it's named. It's also known as Highway 211. So Supply, I actually live in Supply. Supply is not a town. It's not even a city. It's more of an area that borders the Lockwood Folly and the Shallotte River. But that's the name of this road. And this road will connect over to Shallotte on Highway 17. So the main communities that are along this corridor, and there are more coming, are St. James and Winding River and River C. People like this corridor because it's convenient to Southport. Southport is an old maritime town, first discovered in 1521 by the Spanish, played a big part in the Revolutionary War, played a big part in the Civil War. Now it is the North Carolina official hub for 4th of July fireworks. If you've never seen the movie Safe Haven, the climactic scene in the end, fireworks are going off and the boyfriend saving the girlfriend, that was filmed in Southport when the fireworks were going off, although the fireworks were staged for the movie. And 2 ferries. One ferry, it's a fun 30-minute ferry ride going into Fort Fisher, which connects to Curry Beach, Carolina Beach, and on up into Wilmington. This is a car ferry, so you can do a big loop going around into Wilmington and back down. And then the other ferry is a pedestrian ferry going on to Bald Head Island. So you rent a golf cart once you get there. So it's more of an exclusive island, but something that everybody should do. There's golf course over there, and then there's some restaurant, which you have to be a member for the day to use the restaurant. But then there's 2 other restaurants that are at the harbor. So fun to do. So St. James and Winding River, Oak Island and Holden Beach are those beaches. So St. James is a big golf community, 4 golf courses. The billboards leading to St. James says that you can have it all, and certainly you could in St. James. So they also have a beach club, and so does Winding River have a beach club. One thing that Winding River has that St. James doesn't have is they also have a river club. So you can launch your boat from the river club here, come down the Lockwood Folly and go on to Holden Beach and dock your boat at the harbor on Holden Beach and walk over to the beach club. I don't have a photo of the beach club for Holden Beach, but it's very nice. It's an air-conditioned room, whereas this beach club for St. James is a big open gazebo. Both are great. It's that way you have private parking and access. River C is a very popular community. People who want communities that have more spacious home sites, River C is excellent for that. Oak Island used to be called Long Beach, and because it's the longest beach of all that are in the area. There are 2 bridges crossing over. So another important thing, people say in a perfect world, I want to live in a community with fitness center and golf and all the great amenities that an active adult community would have, and I want to be able to walk to the beach. Well, because we have the Intercoastal Waterway that separates the mainland from the islands, it's just not feasible to do that. There are some areas where you can ride a bike. There's one that you could walk, but I don't see many people do that because it's quite a distance. But the Intercoastal Waterway is a big draw for recreational opportunities now, fishing, kayaking, boating in general. So this is the middle section. If you saw on the other section, Creekmore Realty Group is about in the middle. So my office is convenient to the entire county, and we do cover the entire county. So moving into the last region, the darker green, this is the Shallotte southwest area. Shallotte, I bought my first fishing rod in Shallotte. Well, my dad bought it when I was 3 or 4 years old. So Shallotte has been on the map for a while. It in itself is a mispronunciation of Charlotte. So the Shallotte River was operated by a Frenchman, and the Frenchman called it Shallotte. And so that's how it became known, but it's certainly pronounced Shallotte and Shallotte all the time, but it is Shallotte. So in 2003, it was the fastest growing area in the United States of America. Developments were popping up everywhere. And this is why you see in part of more concentration here. Sea Trail was one of the first communities that was developed down here. Brunswick Plantation came along not long after that. Ocean Ridge is this beautiful golfing community. They also have a beach club. Their beach club is on Sunset Beach. There are only 7 communities that have beach clubs. So if a beach club is something that you want, certainly let me know that in what is the ideal setting for you all. Shallotte is not lacking in shopping and the necessities. So this Coastal Walk shopping area is brand new, not even 2 years old. And across the street from it is another one, Home Depot and Belk's and Office Depot is there. So Shallotte is population of maybe half of Leland, but it is surrounded by more communities and development, which is why you'll see more commercial services in Shallotte. Again, our intercoastal waterway, this is actually Holden Beach right over here. That's what separates our islands, our barrier islands. Again, there's 7 barrier islands, there's 9 beaches. So the waterway is what separates, which also gives us protection from hurricanes, storm surge. Now, creeks can flood, but most of these communities are outside of a floodplain. So I will be hosting a webinar on flood. So be sure to log on to my website to register for our webinar series. But people think that all of this area floods, and it just doesn't. So wanted everybody to know that. So people are choosing this south region, the southwest area, because it is surrounded by golf, it is surrounded by beaches, it is more accessible. So the beaches are what we call the honey for the bees. So if you got little bees, grandkids, people are choosing this area because they want to, the grandkids want to get to it. It's certainly very convenient. No matter where you're at, if you're in Leland or if you're in the Shallotte area, the beaches are no more than 5 to 30, 35 minutes away. So they're all close, but this region is closer to the beaches. Ocean Isle, Sunset Beach are the closest to this region. Holden's a little bit more tucked away, but certainly easy to get to. I live at Oyster Harbor. And then we have Sunset Beach, which is appropriately named. One of the characteristics of Sunset Beach is it has a very gentle slope out to the ocean. So when you're at low tide, that reveals all the packed sand, and it's awesome for biking. At the very tip, there's what's known as Bird Island, and people love going out there and biking out there. So it's awesome. Novant Medical Center, which is right over here. That's about the middle part of the county. So that is accessible to the dark shade green and the middle shade green. The light shade green Leland, most people would go to the hospital in Wilmington. So that describes the 3 areas. And I am right at 25 minutes, so I'm 5 minutes over what I promised. But I want to open this up to questions here in a second. We are Creekmore Realty Group. I want to thank you all for joining. The next webinar will be April the 14th. And the topic, I'm trying to keep the webinars as close to the second Thursday of every month. But the next webinar is 5 things you need to know about building in the near future. Part of what we do is we do help people buy land and match them with the right builder, help them get the right design. So we've got quite a bit of experience with that. So we want to share our knowledge. That will be April the 14th. This webinar, as I told you, is recorded, so you can find it on my YouTube channel. You can also find it from my website, Creekmore Realty Group. So again, thank you very much for joining the webinar. I want to open it up for questions. I see one, do taxes differ in the various areas? No. Not in the county, but they do vary if you're in the city. So in Leland, Brunswick Forest is annexed by the city of Leland. So in the city of Leland, you will pay a city tax and the county tax. So to put this into perspective, no matter where you're at, you are in the county, and most of it is not annexed by a town that varies the tax rate by much. But the good number to use is $500 per 100,000. So that would be your property taxes. So you're 700 per 100,000 roughly if you're in Leland, and you're 500 roughly if you're almost anywhere else in the county. Certainly Leland has more services that they provide. Okay. So does anybody else have any questions? And you can open up your mic or just type in a question. I'll try to get to them.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, okay. I have a question about if on income tax, as far as disability or Social Security, if it is taxed in your state.
Social Security is not taxed. And we do have a state income tax. It's at a flat rate of 5.25. A lot of federal government people are moving to our area because there is a significant tax credit on retirement for those that are working with the federal government. But Social Security is not taxed, and we also don't have an estate tax when you're leaving property. Do HOA dues usually include the beach club? Every single time. So there is one community called St. James, and your HOA is only $9.50 a year, and that includes the beach club. Beach clubs are zoned civic, and in order for the communities to have use of the beach club, they had to be civic, which means that everybody that's an owner in a particular community gets use of that. Now, St. James, because it is also a membership club, all the other amenities, the pools and the fitness centers, that you have to be a club member in order to use those amenities. But if you buy in a community like Kingfish Bay or Winding River or Ocean Ridge, Beach Club is included in the HOA, as well as St. James. Just all the other amenities are not. Difference between a POA and an HOA. Excellent question. So a community, a larger community like Brunswick Forest, if you will. So Brunswick Forest is broken down into neighborhoods. So definition of POA is Property Owners Association. HOA is Homeowners Association. So a POA typically would be including all the master amenities. And an HOA is typically broken down for a neighborhood. And the reason for that is a neighborhood would include yard care. So if you have two different association dues, one is typically for the master association, including all the master amenities, and the other is for the neighborhood, which is basically grounds upkeep. There's not too many communities that are broken down that way, but Brunswick Forest is the classic example of that. Taxes. What is the second new development you mentioned? Well, there's actually, stay tuned, kids. there's many more coming. Del Webb will be coming into Brunswick County, building a second one. There is 2 or 3 other developments that have not been formally approved by the Planning Commission. One is on Highway 904, close to Shallotte, just south of Shallotte. Another one is closer to Calabash. So there are more coming. Some of these, it may be 24 months before you have a home site, but there are more coming. Not seeing too many other questions filtering in here.
What about the weather temperatures?
Thank you. Okay, so our winters average 48 to 50 degrees, and our summers average 88, 90 degrees. We have on average about 11 to 15 days in the summer that reach above 90, and we have about 5 to 6 days in the winter that reach below freezing, below 32.
Days or nights?
I'm sorry?
Days or nights?
Days.
Okay.
Yeah. So at night, it's not uncommon to be 28, but we don't have a lot of those. But, at night we could be 28 degrees. Snowfall, we don't get a bunch of that. We will have a blizzard if we have 3 inches, and somewhere around 2003 we had 6 inches, and that was crazy. So not much snow. Okay, here we go. Another question. So most properties do not require flood insurance. I'd say in the planned communities, which if you let's see if I go back to that map for you guys. So in the planned communities, there are pockets in St. James. There is pockets in Winding River, a few in River C, very few in Brunswick Plantation, but there are some. Up here in Leland, which the Weather Channel really blasted Wilmington and said that Wilmington was, just destroyed. And there was a community just south of this bypass called Stony Creek that's where all the weathermen went. They focused on that one. And Stony Creek certainly was enamored with flooding, because they had the 2 creeks that connected and that just backed up from there. But Brunswick Forest, Waterford, Compass Point, high and dry. There's a small section of Magnolia Greens that requires flood insurance, but I'm talking very, very small. But most of the communities do not. Now, I am mostly a buyer's agent. I will absolutely always point out the pros and cons of every single property that somebody may be looking at. So if it's in a flood insurance, or if it's in a flood zone, rest assured I will be telling you that. What is a typical heating method? Okay, so although we have natural gas to quite a bit of this area, there's one community I did not put on the map. I should have, and Doug, the developer, will be mad at me, but they have natural gas there. Even though it has natural gas, most of the people are using electricity to heat and cool the houses, because it's very efficient here. We don't have extreme hot and cold. You could heat with gas, some people do, but the primary is heat pump for heating and cooling. An average bill maybe, depending on the size of the home, let's say a 2,400 square foot home, average bill maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of $225 for heating and cooling, all combined, which I'll say more in particular, the Leland area, You can't see what I'm pointing at, but anyhow, the Leland area up over here, there was some studies done, and a monthly expense for carrying a home, including taxes and HOA fees and insurance and utilities. If you budget somewhere around $1,200 to $1,500 a month for, not including a mortgage, but that should cover all your living expenses, not food, not fun, not mortgage, but your living expenses.
Utilities.
Yes, it would be included in that. Is Del Webb in Leland? Currently, Del Webb is right here in Wilmington, which means that you have to pay Wilmington tax. So people like to be in Brunswick County for many reasons, but one is the tax is almost half of what it is in the Wilmington area. However, a birdie has told me that there will be a Del Webb coming somewhere around over here. Del Webb, the current Del Webb is almost sold out, by the way. There's 70 home sites left. Great development, good location, convenient to Carolina Beach, but nearing its end on developer properties. So, any more questions?
Nope, good.
Okay, is that Luann?
Luann, yes.
Luann, okay, thank you, Luann. Yes. So I'm not seeing any more being typed into the chat. So I want to thank everybody for coming on to the webinar. This will be recorded. You can find it on Creekmore Realty Group, and also just go to YouTube and search Creekmore Realty Group. You'll be able to find it there. And again, the next webinar will be on the 14th of April, and it'll be about building, things that you need to know about building in the near future. So I'm very excited that everybody joined on. Thank you so much. And you can always email me or contact me from Creekmore Realty Group if you have specific questions. Most of you that are on the webinar I have your email, although I may not know who's on. So again, thank you very much. If there's more questions, well, there's one more. Thank you for all your information. Yep, you're most welcome. Okay, yes. Everybody have a great night, and call me anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you.